And welcome in everybody to another episode of Fantasy Fridays here on the High Low Sports Podcast. This week we are roughly a little over a month into the season, so we're going to start talking about players who are poised to boom. Normally in the first month of the season, we do see not everybody who starts out strong finishes strong, and not everyone who finishes strong starts out like gangbusters. So we're going to look at some players who maybe have been a little bit slower to start the year, but I think are poised to put up some big numbers as the season goes along. We have a lot of season left to go, and you'll see some names here. We'll reference some last year, some guys who were a little bit lower that shot up, but we're going to start with one who I'm about less than 24 hours late on. I already made this list and was ready to go to record, and then he went ahead and started his breakout, but we're going to go with Drake London. He was receiver 23 before yesterday, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be a lot higher now after that performance he put on yesterday. I think just getting Kirk Cousins healthy, getting him acclimated, getting the timing down. I love the way they use him. He's in those tight sets really close to he can go inside or outside. He's not just lined up outside on an island to go dunk on people. They're putting him in motion, they're letting him work out of the slot. They're letting him he's playing like a Z and an X role. He's allowed to basically play all over the field. You see it over the middle, outside. He's their quick hitter, he's their big play guy. He is poised to look similar to what CeeDee Lamb did last year. Not saying he's going to finish like that now. CeeDee Lamb was receiver 13 at this point last year before finishing number one. But I do think Drake London's very poised to have a top 10 to 12-ish finish as long as Kirk stays healthy and they can build off of what we've seen the last few weeks. He's become an absolute machine. Their offense, Darnell Mooney's taken a lot of targets from him, obviously, but I do think the offense will still run through Drake London and what they're able to do with him. And after yesterday's performance, I feel great about this one. You probably wouldn't be able to trade for him now, but if you do have him, he's almost a start every week type of guy at this point. Next up, we're going to go to the running back position. We're going to look at Kenneth Walker. This one's interesting. He's running back 21 right now, but he's missed 2 games, and his replacement, Zach Charbonnet, is running back 10. What we have seen is when they're both healthy, it is mostly the Kenneth Walker show, I believe. This year, I think it's going to be even more the same. It's going to be a lot more in the favor of K9. And I do think we've seen it. He's played 8 quarters and has 4 touchdowns. He's been absolutely awesome when he has played. And I think that's going to continue. The offense, when they are running the ball, it is clearly much more effective. When they lean on the run game, Geno Smith can roll off of that. The offensive line has proven to be a lot more solid this year than last year. Defensively, they are outstanding. And I think looking at their schedule, they do have some, I don't want to say weaker run defense, but there are going to be some games where Kenneth Walker is going to get involved. And in the passing game, we saw it with Zach Charbonnet as well as Kenneth Walker. The running backs are going to get involved too. So look for Kenneth Walker to boom and possibly fly up the boards. Maybe he finishes a top 10 RB this season as well if he could stay healthy. Next up, we're going to go to receiver, and this one's going to irk a lot of people because of how little he has done so far based on his ADP. But we're going to go Michael Pittman with the Colts. He was receiver 13 last year as a whole, and at this point, he was receiver 19. So he wasn't exactly on fire, but he was kind of on par-ish with Winnie's. Well, right now he's receiver 52, which is not very great. And he was receiver number 20 last week, which was by far his best performance. Over 100 yards, I believe it was 8 catches, which doesn't sound great at receiver 20, but when you look at it, among receivers who scored no touchdowns, he would have been receiver 4. And he hasn't scored a touchdown yet this season. I don't think that's going to continue. It's a matter of time before he gets into the paint. And I do think this week it looks like Flacco might be the guy with Jacksonville going down to Jacksonville too. They're not going to run the same offense with Flacco. He's not going to take a lot of carries. There's going to be no Jonathan Taylor, so the running game's not going to be quite as potent, most likely, which means a lot of quick hitting passes. Look for Pittman and Josh Downs to get involved a lot. I look for Pittman to start reemerging as a very valuable receiver too in fantasy. If you can trade for him, this would be the week to do it. And I say week as in like the next 48 hours to go make a move for him. And then last but not least, we're going to go to quarterback. And this one's tough because he is quarterback 10, so there is room to boom. But at the same time, he's already kind of good in Kyler Murray. He is good, but he's had a stinker here or there too. Like against the Commanders, that was a huge letdown. And I think a lot of people are starting to fall low on him as well. Against Detroit, he didn't exactly light the world on fire either. But I do still think Kyler Murray is going to finish in that top 8 to 9-ish quarterback range, maybe even top 7. He did not use his legs at all last week, which was very, very weird. He basically was a stationary target, and I don't understand it. I don't think that's going to continue. Him and Marvin Harrison Jr. have an awesome rapport. Trey McBride is out. He's going to come back. He's clicking with Wilson and Dortch and those other guys too. So Kyler Murray let's stay steady with him as well. There were some quarterbacks last year like Brock Purdy who was in like the 13th, 14th-ish range and finished at quarterback 7. Jordan Love was it kind of did a similar thing. So look for Kyler Murray, let's stay steady on him. Let's not get too hasty over that bad last week against Washington. I know he let a lot of people down that week. Well, the Cardinals in general did, considering they mustered 14 points against one of the worst defenses. But I think that's going to be the anomaly, not the norm. Look for Kyler Murray to continue to ascend, and I think he's about to start booming now too. So this one's a little bit more of a not necessarily a boom, but he's going to continue what he's doing and even better. If you want a boom, you can also look at Jordan Love as well. But here's what I'm looking at for some players that I expect to start booming their way for the rest of the season and to be some mainstays. Let us know in the comment section down below other players you think are set to boom, and we will see you all again next week.